At this time, I would like to invite Savannah Price to the stage to make a special introduction.
I asked her what I should write for her introduction. She said, "You've seen me at my worst, you've seen me at my best, and you still love me. Make people see what you see." Well, that's not so easy since I started all the way back in kindergarten. But here goes nothing. She's resilient like no one else I've ever seen. If she does something, she does it 100% and not a bit less. She's afraid of failure, but she's also a risk taker. She's beautiful inside and out. She's confidently herself in all the best ways. She's given all of these things to this association and so much more this year. She's my best friend and one of your amazing vice presidents. For the last time, here's Ms. Peyton Busby.
Right here at Clemson University, home of the Clemson Tigers. Is anybody else a Tiger fan in here? That's what I'm talking about. I think about the only sports-related thing that I really care to watch other than Tiger football are football movies. Am I right? We all remember the Titans and The Blind Side, but my favorite football movie is Facing the Giants. Facing the Giants is a movie about a small-town football coach and his struggle to keep his home, marriage, and football team intact. After several seasons with absolutely no wins, members of the community begin trying to remove Coach Taylor from his position. He's ready to throw the towel in until a man by the name of Mr. Bridges comes to offer him some words of encouragement through a short story. Once, there were two farmers. Both farmers desperately needed rain, and they both prayed for the rain. But only one farmer went out and prepared his fields to receive it. Who do you think trusted God to send the rain? Deep stuff, am I right? The lesson seems pretty clear to me. We must work hard to prepare our fields, and we should always have the faith to pray for rain. But I think we should also remember to open our hearts to receive it. Contrary to what I once believed, it's not always about proving yourself or succeeding, but instead about the people who help you each step of the way. Now, I gotta be honest with y'all, I am a disorganized mess. I like the idea of organization, I really do. Each year on the first day of school, I would come in with a monogram binder, perfectly labeled folders, and 1,000 colored pens. But without fail, every year, by about the third week of school, that same binder would be lost somewhere in the disaster that is my car, and I'd be writing with a crusty half-sharpened pencil that somebody dug up out of the bottom of their book bag. That's the kind of person I am. So last year, when my ag teacher, Miss Finley, gave me this journal to use as a tool to prepare for state office, I was not convinced. She gave it to me and said, "Carry it with you everywhere and write down anything you think will help. Quotes, stories, personal experiences, FFA facts and figures, interview questions and word-perfect answers, everything." Believe it or not, I did. For the next month, I carried around not only this journal, but a massive binder slapped full of ag-related printouts, every Agribiz and New Horizons magazines I could get my hand on, and countless sticky notes and colored pens. For weeks, I pored over this journal, writing stories and sticky note flip charts. This journal followed me into the week of state convention, and it's a good thing too. I remember sitting down in my very first non-com interview with my palms sweating and my knees shaking when a non-com member got right to business with a question. How would you describe your work ethic? My mind raced, and all I could think was, work ethic? I know what that is. I know that I have one. But after that, I blanked. My throat started to close up, and I started to panic. I began that downward spiral. One interview, and you messed it all up. Way to go. Until, in a moment I can only describe as divine intervention, I remembered a quote I had written in my journal. Study while others are sleeping. Work while others are playing. Pray while others are doubting. How fitting. Written in other words, this quote reminded me that if I worked hard to prepare my fields, when the time came and I needed it most, kind of how I did in that interview, God would send the rain. You see, life is stressful, and there are so many unknowns, but if we work hard to prepare our fields, we know in the end it will all be okay. Praying for rain means having the faith to understand that what's meant to you will come to you. Life is stressful, but we know in the end it will all be okay. You see, where are you right now? Are you letting the stresses and anxieties of life tie you down and hold you back? Where are you trying to go? Have you had the time to prepare your fields, and have you had the faith to pray for rain? You see, my life is a constant cycle of preparing my fields and praying for rain. But before the rain comes, we often experience drought. You see, I got to be honest with you about something else too. I don't always find myself in the greatest of circumstances, and not many people expected much to come from a girl like me. I felt pain at 3 years old when I knew my mom, who struggled with mental illness and addiction, was never coming home. And I suffered loss at 10 when my dad had to explain to me how she had taken her own life. And I know fear every time someone tries to get close to me, because to know me is to see me. Not all parts of me are pretty. This year has been no different. I felt pain when I found out the woman I now call my mom was in a school bus wreck that should have taken her life. I suffered losses when people I considered my friends walked out of my life for good, and I felt fear every time I thought of the 7,600 FFA members looking to me as a leader. And trust me when I tell you, there were still plenty of people waiting for me to fail. To top it all off, a few weeks ago, I was forced to face my deepest fear. I sat in a small office with my palms sweating, my knees shaking, across from a counselor who didn't hesitate to get right to business. She had me fill out paper after paper and take assessment after assessment. She asked me a multitude of questions and then listened carefully to my answers. After what seems like a lifetime had passed, she looked up at me and said, "Peyton, your scores on these assessments came back off the charts. Every mood disorder test I gave you suggests you go through an official bipolar disorder screening." After a long, dark, confusing, and at times scary journey, it was confirmed that I, like my biological mom, struggled with bipolar disorder. I was devastated, but I can't say I was surprised. For what seems like my whole life, I've been working so hard to write a better ending to the story that she started and prove myself to those who doubted my worth, and yet here I am, fighting the same demons she once did. Thankfully, I have a few things she didn't. I have a dad who loves me. I have a mom who chose to stay. I have a family who never turns their backs. I have friends who support me. I have mentors who encourage me. I have teammates that support me. I have surrounded myself with people who work hard on my behalf and have enough faith to see me through on the days when life is just too much for me. You see, it took me a long time to understand that a farmer's work isn't done when rain falls on his fields. A farmer's work is done when he's harvested his crop. I mean, look at me. Here I am on a stage in a state association jacket, and still I struggle. But I've learned that the rain doesn't come in the form of plaques or titles or crowns or even blue corduroy jackets. Rain comes in the form of people who water you with drops of encouragement each step of the way. You could have put in all the work, had enough faith to move a mountain, and yet you still find yourself falling short of your goals. So I ask you, have you taken the time to notice those around you? Do you see the way they pour into your life? Have you ever thought that where you are is exactly where you're meant to be, because the people who matter most are right there with you? This year, I came to you very lost. But in the places that I've been and in the people that I've met, I have found pieces of who I am. Chase Green from Pendleton reminded me to choose grace. Brock Martin from Cane Bay reminded me to choose joy. Whit Guest from Strom Thurmond reminded me not to take life so seriously. Nick Smith from Clinton reminded me to be fearless in the pursuit of my dreams. AJ from BHP reminded me to be unapologetically myself. Matthew Brownlee from Lawrence reminded me to stay humble. Cooper Brown and Tristan Nisbet from Wagner Sally reminded me to be a good friend. And John Ammons from Pendleton reminded me that we write our own stories. My teammates reminded me that I am enough, to find joy in my journey, to be moved, to seek opportunity, and to dig deeper. You see, we prepare our fields by taking charge of our own life and working hard to better our own circumstances while having the faith to pray for rain. We'll know success when we work hard, prepare our fields, and pray for rain, but you won't know fulfillment until you take the time to appreciate those around you. Acknowledge and appreciate the people who pour into your lives, and you will receive the only rain you ever truly needed to grow: love, encouragement, and support. I am here to remind you, as you have reminded me, that our work may not be done, but we can choose to dance in the rain. After all, it's the people we surround ourselves who make the work worth doing. So South Carolina FFA, I challenge you, work hard, open your hearts, prepare your fields, and pray for rain.
So I can stand tall in a storm like a live oak tree. No one in this world's gonna ever get the best of me. Running down a
Peyton,
like I'm chasing
your knowledge of makeup and Parley Pro is unlike any other. You love ranch more than any other person we've ever met. Thank you for teaching us that if we pray for rain, we could have one of the most abundant harvests. This team would truly be lost without you. Just 1 year, just one team, just one you. Love always, Amanda, Erica, Mariah, Emily, and Jesse.
my grand.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce to you for the final time your 2018-2019 State Vice President, Peyton Busby.
That I